Be real for a moment, right? We've all had that one coworker. You know the one that's always late, always on their phone, always got to take off or leave early, always getting credit for work they ain't do, right? You know the one. You're picturing them right now in your head. See, I had a coworker like that one time too. I'm going to call him Tom for privacy's sake. See, Tom was always late to the job. Tom was always on his phone. Tom never showed up ready to get to work. Tom always had to leave early. But for some reason, the boss kept saying, oh, ain't Tom such a great guy? Tom it is and Tom it that. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here working late, having to pick up Tom's slack, doing everything I can to make sure the job and everything goes right. Yet I'm not getting a thank you, a good job, a high five, a good game pat on the butt, nothing. Did I judge Tom? Yeah, you damn right I judged Tom. I'm sitting here thinking, how is this even fair? Man, this guy don't care about his job. Fire his ass and give me his money and I'll stay and do his work because he's barely doing anything as it is. How does anybody else see this? But how am I the only one that sees this but me? But one day something happened, right? Something happened that changed everything. Tom and I were on the job one day by ourselves. And he casually mentioned how he was struggling with work and being a single father of 2 little girls. So Tom wasn't late because, he didn't care. Tom was late because he had to drop his kids off with the principal every morning before school. See, Tom's baby mama, for lack of better terms, decided she wanted to be for the streets. Right? And she would go disappear for months and months at a time and then come to the school and kidnap the kids and hold them for ransom. Tom had to pay her, a couple $1,000s to get the kids back. And then next thing you know, she'd take off. So Tom wasn't late and on his phone and leaving early because he didn't care about the job where he was lazy. He finally had a last straw and decided he was going to start taking the legal processes. So he had to deal with a lawyer, picking up the kids from school, everything of that nature. And at that moment, I realized that judging Tom had nothing to do with Tom. Right? It had everything to do with me. Jesus tells us in John chapter 7, verse 24, judge not according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. But what does it mean to judge righteously? It means looking deeper than the surface, right? It means seeing the truth behind what you think you see, right? When I was judging Tom, I wasn't judging or looking at the truth of his situation, right? I was looking at the version of Tom I had made up in my mind, right? I was judging him based on my assumptions and not his reality. But, we all do that sometimes, right? We see somebody's actions, but we don't see their struggles, right? We see their mistakes, but we don't see their intentions. Judging righteously means to pause long enough to ask these questions. What's the full picture behind the truth here? What is the truth that I'm actually seeing? It's about stepping back and letting go of our own assumptions and looking through the eyes of compassion. Now, on a deeper, more psychological perspective, judgment is a mirror, right? It reflects back the parts of ourselves that we haven't truly accepted yet. When we judge somebody for being lazy, disorganized, or selfish, it's often because we're projecting our own fears and insecurities onto them, right? This is why Jesus' words are so powerful, because they're not a moral teaching, right? They're actually a spiritual and psychological practice, right? He says, judge not, be that you be judged, right? Matthew chapter 7, verse 1. He wasn't saying be nice. He was pointing out a universal truth that the way we judge others is often the way we judge ourselves, right? And the more we judge, the more we trap ourselves in the cycles of negativity, right? But the key is to break that cycle, right? Learning the truth behind the judgment, not just the truth behind other people, but the truth behind ourselves. But now, don't get me wrong, we ain't all got to be best friends with Tom, right? Because some people just got to step they shit up. But instead of jumping to judgment, right, why don't we ask ourselves, what's really going on here? What's the story that I don't really know? Because the truth is, we're all fighting battles that no one else can see. Maybe that coworker who's always on the phone is actually trying to get somebody to keep her kids a little bit longer or whatever the case so they can work later and don't have to actually leave early. Or maybe that dude is in a bad mood all the time, right? What if he's going through some shit that you can't even imagine? Or maybe, just maybe they're human just like you. And here's the good news. Right? Once you start seeing judgment as a mirror, right, it becomes an opportunity, right? Every time you catch yourself judging someone, you have a chance to ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself, right? Maybe it's showing you where you need to set more boundaries. Or better yet, it's teaching you or pointing out a fear and insecurity that you've been avoiding. Or maybe it's just reminding you that you need a little bit more compassion for others and for yourself. And the best part about all of this, right, is when you stop judging others so harshly, you stop judging yourself so harshly. And let me tell you, that's just fucking freedom, right? So here's my challenge to you, right? Tomorrow when you get to work and Tom starts doing this Tom shit, right, stop. Take a deep breath. And instead of judging them, get curious, right? Ask yourself, what's their story? right? Why am I feeling so messed up about this, right? Because when you shift from judgment to curiosity, it opens the door for understanding, right? And when you understand someone, it's a lot easier to work with them, or at the very least, they stop living rent-free in your head. Because who knows? Time might surprise you. I doubt it, but who knows? Either way, you'll walk away a little bit lighter, a little bit freer, and a lot less stressed. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we really want? Follow, like, and subscribe for more Bible and spiritual deep dives.
Believe in us, oh, but I know God